Peace, what's up everybody? We wrapping up and we closing up this October horror month. So in this last week, we really gonna be talking about death, rebirth, Halloween, the veil, things of that nature. So in this particular video, why horror is really about death and rebirth. Now when you look at it, every horror movie is just a rehearsal for your death. Now I don't mean the blood, the gore, I mean death as a symbol. Death as the shadow that you have been running from. Death as initiation. So Halloween, horror movies, all of it, they're not here to terrify you. They're here to remind you that you cannot run from endings. You can only surrender, transform, and be reborn. So today we're going to decode just a little bit. We're going to talk about Halloween, Dr. Sleep, and Bird Box. And I'm going to show you how every scream and shadow is really just painting or pointing you towards one thing, and that's rebirth. Now, when you look at Halloween, it's a festival of death. Halloween as a holiday didn't start with costumes and candy. It comes from Samhain, the ancient Celtic festival of death, the time when the veil was thinnest, when the dead could talk with the living. Now in horror, Michael Myers becomes the face of that energy, as is stated in one of those movies. Now I know it's considered to be off timeline, but it says it. He's not just a killer. He pretty much is death embodied. So he's relentless. He's inescapable. He's faceless. He has no motive, no soul. He just is. And that's the point. Death has no explanation. It doesn't ask permission. It just comes. And every year when we dress up, when we face monsters, when we tell ghost stories, we're rehearsing. We're symbolically facing the thing we cannot control. The paradox is we think we're mocking death, playing with it, but in truth, we're honoring it. We're entering into ritual, practicing what it feels like to walk with endings so we can live with more presence. So when you watch Halloween, don't just see a slasher movie. See the code in it. Michael Myers is the shadow of death. You can't run from. And the trick is not to escape him, but to accept the lesson. Death is initiation. Now let's talk about Dr. Sleep. Now I've done a couple of full-on videos just discussing in great detail the movie Dr. Sleep, because it's such a well-done movie, and the movie is about ghosts, addiction, and the trauma of living with what haunts you. Dan Torrance, the boy from The Shining, has now grown up. He's broken. He's drowning in alcohol and drugs and shadows. But his healing begins when he stops running, when he learns to look the ghost in the face, to lock them in the boxes. That's not suppression, that's integration. It's saying, I see you. You don't control me anymore. And of course, there's the bigger element of it in the girl Abra. But in this instance, there's the true knot, the cult that literally feeds on the steam. We got to look at them too, because the steam being the essence of the children with the shining. So they literally fed on what makes them shine. So the thing that they're afraid of is mortality, aging, the truth of death. So they drain others because they cannot accept endings. But the esoteric coding in that is that death doesn't end energy. It transforms it. Ghosts are memories. Trauma is a haunting. Until you integrate it, it's going to linger. But once you face it, you reclaim continuity. You become the one carrying the power, not running away from it. So Dr. Sleep is showing us that death is not the end. Death is continuity. It's continuing. All of the real horror is not dying. It's refusing to live because you are afraid of it. And then there's the movie Bird Box. Now in this story, the monsters aren't even visible. You can't even see them, because the moment that you see them, you are consumed. You end your own life. These entities aren't just demons, they are the archetype of death, the confrontation with what you cannot escape. So Mallory, the main character, starts as detached, hardened, almost incapable of love. Her children don't even have names, they're just boy and girl. That's her shield. That's her refusal to be vulnerable in a dying world. It was the way she needed to be in order to survive. But through the journey, through facing death again and again, she transforms. And by the end, she names the children. She embraces love. She chooses connection over survival alone. Death as initiation. Death of the ego. Death of the cold, guarded self. Rebirth into love, community, vulnerability. The entities forced her to shed who she was so that she could step into who she was meant to become. And that is the truth. Every death that you fear is really a doorway to a new self. So, what does all this mean? Halloween is reminding us that rituals of death are about rehearsal. We play with endings so we can live more fully. Dr. Sleep shows us that death is continuity. Ghosts and trauma don't end until you face them. Bird Box is revealing death as initiation. Ego death that leads to rebirth in love. Every horror movie is really about death and rebirth. Every monster, every survival, the last girl that's left, it's all a rehearsal for the transformation that you've been avoiding. So the next time you jump at a shadow, at a jump scare, or hold your breath during that horror movie, ask yourself, what part of me needs to die so I can finally be reborn? Because horror doesn't prepare you for death, it prepares you for life. And if you want to dig deeper and get more into these decodes with the ancestral codes of Halloween and the rituals hidden inside of these films, there are extended breakdowns that's waiting for you on the Patreon. So check the link that's in the description to join the Patreon. And make sure if you haven't, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all for tapping in on Cosmic Paradox. Peace.